Welcome, dear Siskiyou School community, to the graduation of the Dolphin class. This is the first time. This is the first time in 3 years that we are able to gather as a whole community for an 8th grade graduation. What a blessing. A community can only stay strong and healthy and persevere through challenges if everyone does their part to support the whole. Tonight, I look at all of you, children, teachers, administrative team, parents, and board members, and say thank you for each doing your part with so much care, love, and attention. It is our tradition at this end of year ceremony to acknowledge departing teachers. This year we have 3 founding teachers leaving our school, Mr. McGlone, Ms. Tisdall, and Ms. Razi. We had a special assembly last Friday in Pine Hall with all the children and took time to express our deep gratitude and well wishes to these 3 teachers. We want to take another moment this evening to do the same. Mr. McGlone, will you please join me on the stage? Thank you, Mr. McGlone, for being an incredible woodworking and acorn teacher for the past 17 years and for holding the most enjoyable recesses for all the children at the field every day with your games of kickball, football, and steal the lemons. The warm atmosphere in your classroom made even the chilliest days bearable. Thank you for your many contributions to making our campus beautiful over the years, and above all, for your rock-solid presence, which has given this school continuity, strength, and groundedness. This plaque is dedicated to you and will hang in the wood shop. Ms. Tisdall, would you please come up? Ms. Tisdall, thank you for bringing your gifts of creativity, humor, kindness, and loving care to so many students over the past 17 years. Your classroom was always filled with light and beauty. You held the children with love, and your teaching was truly inspired. All of your students felt seen by you over all these years, and your seeing empowered them to discover their gifts. The honesty and integrity of your voice in our faculty work always went to the heart of the matter. Thank you for your vital role in shaping our school. We wish you all the best on your journey, and we are very grateful knowing that you are still in Ashland, and we will see you around. And Ms. Razi, please. Thank you, Ms. Razi, for your strength and passion in helping the school become what it is today. Your deep sense and knowing of Waldorf education has benefited so many children over the past 18 years. Your love of teaching and of the children was palpable every day. Your clarity and flexibility of thought, your ability to vision and see possibilities, and your gift for finding solutions have constantly improved and strengthened our school and programs over the years. Thank you for helping us hold the whole picture of the school and the many ways and times you step forward to help with the carrying. We will miss you dearly and wish you and your family good luck as you settle into your new home in Maine. The departure of these three founding teachers is a moment for the school, and it prompted us to want to officially acknowledge all the founding teachers with a plaque of their own. This plaque will hang in Pine Hall alongside the many others honoring our graduating classes and our school's history. We owe all the teachers listed here deep gratitude for ensuring continuity for Waldorf education for all the children of this valley, for their role in creating the school, and for being the core team in the first chapter of the school. The names on there are Christine Crawley, Debbie Murphy, Molly McKissick, Janet Allison, Nina Galway, Giggs Razi, Kelly Tisdall, Cynthia Bauer, Melissa Archer, Margie Galati, Michael McGlone, Dustin Monda, Magda Paz, Jennifer Carroll, and Catherine Razi. Teachers, if you are here tonight, please stand and let us give you a round of applause. A huge thank you to Laura for making this event possible on our own campus, and to Sarah and all the volunteers for assisting and making it so beautiful. Thank you to Kristen for opening the live stream for family and friends near and far. And now, in closing, just before we begin with the graduation ceremony, I say the most heartfelt thank you to you, the departing 8th grade parents and grandparents. Thank you for entrusting us with your children all these years, and for the myriad ways you have helped build and expand our school over these years. Several of you have served on the board, and all of you have given freely of your time and resources to support the school. We will miss your daily presence very much and hope to continue seeing you and your children at our school events and festivals. You will always be part of our ever-growing Siskiyou School family. And now, let's turn to the Dolphin class and begin our graduation ceremony.
Rudyard Kipling.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you.
If you can trust yourself when all folks doubt you.
But make allowance for their doubting too.
If you can wait and not be tired by waiting.
Or being lied about, don't deal in lies.
Or being hated, don't give way to hating.
And yet don't look too good nor talk too wise.
If you can dream and not make dreams your master.
If you can think and not make thoughts your aim.
If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken,
twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools,
or watch the things you gave your life to
broken,
and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings
and risk it on one turn of pitching toss,
and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss.
If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew
to serve your turn long after they are gone,
and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on.
If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue,
or walk with kings nor lose the common touch.
If either both your loving friend can hurt you, if all folks count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute, 60 seconds worth of distance run,
yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
We're going to hope that the technical gods will be with us for the rest of the evening. Nice job, Dolphin class, speaking that out. Yes. And I think the words to that poem are also in the program. Welcome, everybody. It has been my privilege to be the class teacher of this group of amazing students for the last 8 years. I told them this morning I needed to take something that would not make me not cry tonight. It feels momentous that the time for our graduation has finally arrived. It is such a gift to be together, all together. And even as the children were just up here, we just haven't had an opportunity in these years to stand before an audience, to do this, which in our school community is usually such an integral part of our experience. So this really marks a turning point, and it's really special to get to do it at our graduation. So before I hand the stage over to the graduates, I want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank the parents of this class. To all of you Dolphin parents, I thank you for all you have shared.
I do. I really do.
I thank you for all you have shared with me over these years. I have learned from you as you have shared your parenting journey with me. Like your kids, you are a remarkable group, present, engaged, caring, thoughtful, hardworking. Our community has been blessed by each and every one of you. You have shown up and done your part over and over through all of your years as parents here. Thank you for all you have shared with me and with the school. I just want to acknowledge that being a parent is one of the most incredible, amazing, and impossible things that I've ever even heard of. And truly, it has been an honor to watch you navigate the waters of parenthood. I really feel honored to have been a part of your journey, so thank you. I want to take a moment to do a personal thank you when I think of sort of getting to this point. I have been the class teacher, but of course, Dolphin class, you have had many teachers. And I told the students of the Siskiyou School last week that everybody has their own class, but the teachers kind of have their own class, and it's the faculty. And I think I have had the best class in the world. And I think that, you know, over the years, the gift of doing the journey, 1st through 8th, was watching my colleagues do that journey too. And I just think of seeing, after having been in the middle school for so long, watching Miss Archer come into the 1st grade, Miss Bauer, Lausche, everybody. It's been such a privilege to walk it with all of you teachers. Sitting in faculty meeting with you and the relationships that we have created, they are so precious to me. And each of you are. And I see you, Molly, sitting over there, and Christine, I'm hoping you're out in that audience. All of you teachers are my teachers. Thank you. I want to give a special thank you to Catherine. Catherine is my mom, but more than that, I mean, oh my Lord about Catherine. There was a moment this year where she was teaching the 8th graders softball. There was like a recess where she was playing ping pong, and she had just been doing main lesson in 6th grade, was running across to do main lesson in another class. And just with this sort of wisdom and I've got this, and just thank you for who you are and the way you have helped me. And the way that you help all of the teachers, Catherine, you are like from another time. And thank you. You just lead by example. And I know that all the Dolphin class has really experienced that this year. So I want to also thank my friend Jennifer, who I also think might be in this crowd, for being my special walking precious friend through all the ups and downs of life. And lastly, I just want to acknowledge Juniper and Grace and Mr. McGlone, who are the greatest. Thank you for being my family. Thanks for that time, everybody. Okay, now, as is our tradition here at the Siskiyou School, we hear from our students. Our graduates will first share a memory from their time in the Dolphin class, and then they will introduce a classmate, trying to put into words the essence of this friend. The students don't know who will introduce them. They will hear the introduction for the first time tonight. We thought you should hold your applause till after the speeches and the introductions, because there'll be so much clapping. I think it'll make the most sense. So now I would like to turn it over to the students, and I would ask you to join me in welcoming Raquel to the stage.
My stomach was doing backflips as I sat on my mom's lap on the wood chips, nervously waiting for my name to be called. One by one, my soon-to-be first-grade classmates stood up and walked toward Miss Rossi and Mr. Gaskin to receive a sunflower and their new buddy. I was incredibly anxious, but determined not to show it. I had been waiting excitedly for this day for so long, the day I would get my older buddy. Finally, when I thought the anticipation was going to kill me, I heard it. Raquel Adams and Kiona Hodge. This was it. I jumped up, a mixture of nerves and excitement coursing through my veins. As I walked toward my teacher, I could feel hundreds of eyes on me. What would I do when I reached my destination? Would I hold my buddy's hand? Would I give her a hug? Fortunately, everything went smoothly. I received my sunflower, and Kiona led me over to the tarp, where fellow first graders and their new 6th grade buddies sat. Gripping my sunflower, I stared up at my buddy's smiling face. In my memory, our older buddies were gigantic. It's hard for me to believe that now I am one of those giants. In 8 swift years, I have transformed from a jittery 6-year-old into the person that stands in front of you today. That very first day marked the beginning of what would come to be 8 of some of the best years of my life. Now, I would like to introduce someone who is a natural leader. This is a person with many talents. Some of these include a passion for basketball, a hilarious sense of humor, and the ability to achieve whatever he sets his mind to. After knowing this person for 8 years, the rest of my classmates and I have come to love his competitiveness and drive. Not only is this person a very gifted athlete, but they are also blessed with a comical sense of humor that lightens up the classroom. This person excels at whatever he wishes to achieve. I know I speak for all of my classmates when I say my Siskiyou School experience would not have been the same without him. Please join me in welcoming my dear friend Quillian to the podium.
The lights dim. The moment I've been dreading for the last month has arrived. I was in 6th grade, and my class was in the midst of performing The Wizard of Oz. But for me, this play was significantly different from the other 5 I had already completed during my time at this school. First, my part in this play was somewhat large compared to previous years. But that's not really what I was worried about. If you asked anyone what I hated in 6th grade, they would say the same thing, singing. And not only was I about to sing, I was about to sing on stage in front of 200 people. The lights come up. There I am, standing still, covered in silver face paint, the Tin Man, my heart pounding. As I say my first few lines, I calm a little. I move into position and begin the song. It sounds way better than I expected. The song goes by in an instant, and just like that, I am done. Looking back on it now, I realize that even though I was scared of doing it at the time, I'm grateful I did it. And it really helped me realize that I can do things out of my comfort zone. I feel moments like this show what the Siskiyou School values, pushing kids to be the best they can daily. These past 8 years with my class are years that I will never forget. And although I am sad that the time has come to leave, I'm grateful that I've had all the time that I did. I'd now like to introduce a student who has been in our class for 8 years. The person still surprises me every day with their crazy range of skills, both academic and athletic. Since 1st grade, this student has dominated almost all of our spelling bees and math games. The person has amazing taste in fashion, and they are always kind to their fellow classmates. Whenever I come to school tired or upset, this student meets me with a smile and instantly cheers me up. Since I've known this person, they have excelled at soccer and baseball, and really any activities they do, with a perfect amount of competitiveness and enthusiasm. They lift us all up with their positive attitude, and their unique personality brings joy and playfulness to our class on a daily basis. I've been lucky to be in their class for 8 whole years. Please join me in welcoming my friend Ben to the podium.
Miss Rosie finishes the circle and starts to dismiss the class to go to the bathroom down the hall. The quiet people go first, as always, which isn't me, because I'm a crazy loud 1st grader. I finally settle down and get dismissed. Then I start crab crawling down the hall with everyone else. We then form a line to go to the bathroom. It takes a very short time, but it feels like forever. I hated waiting. When it is finally my turn, I go very fast and then run back up to the classroom, where we are learning some math. I like this part of the day because math is fun. In 1st grade, there were lots of things I struggled with every day. I felt way ahead of everyone academically, and doing some of the stuff Miss Rosie asked us to do, like standing still and drawing, drove me nuts. Most of the time, I didn't understand why we had to do all the circle activities and be quiet. It seemed silly and useless. Now I understand that we were being asked to learn how to do lots of things, not just how to read and do math. I had to work really hard to do those things. When I look back now, I see that at some point over the years, everything evened out, and everyone got to the same place in all the categories of learning, even me. I've had a unique experience at the Siskiyou School. Though it was hard sometimes, it was also fun. So thanks to the Siskiyou School for those fun times, and for helping me become a better version of myself. I am now in a good place to say goodbye and move on. Now I would like to introduce a person who we've been lucky enough to have in our class for all 8 years. He has only missed a couple days of school in his entire time here. He is a hard worker who is always supportive of everyone. You can see how hard he works by looking at any of his work in his main lesson book or reading something he has written. He also has a phenomenal ability to cook and always brings a great sense of sportsmanship to any games. He is athletic, funny, he has an amazing sense of style, and loves to make us all laugh. Now, please join me in welcoming my good friend Hudson to the podium.
Our faces were flushed with excitement, and smiles were locked onto our faces as we took the final bows of our 5th grade play, The Odyssey. I looked out into the audience with a sense of accomplishment coursing through me. We did it, I thought. We actually just did it. When we had first started practicing our play, I thought there was no possible way that I was going to be ready to perform it in just 3 weeks. I just did not consider myself an actor. I had never really thought about it as one of my passions, and here I was, tasked with taking on the role of Odysseus. But by the night of our performance, I learned all of my lines and my blocking, and there I was, having the time of my life, performing in front of nearly 200 people. As we prepared the stage for the next day's performance, I had a moment of feeling so amazed at what I had just accomplished. For the next 3 years, I continued to always have that feeling of accomplishment and relief after finishing a performance. There was something about the rush and the excitement that I just loved. Going to this school has showed me that even if you think you can't accomplish something because it is not one of your passions, if you try hard and believe there's a way, you can do anything. I would now like to introduce one of my classmates who is funny, cheerful, and always full of passion. She is an amazing actor and can always be counted on to help you out with anything. She is an amazing person and is always full of energy and is excited to try new things. This person has been in our class since 1st grade, and if she hadn't, the experience would definitely not have been the same. If she ever decides to join the Ashland Fire Department, they would be lucky to have her. Would you please join me in welcoming my amazing classmate and friend, Gwen, to the podium.
I hear the deep echoing sounds from the marimbas as the figures in the center rise. The darkness hides their faces, and a small part of me wonders if they could be real ghosts. The harp and recorders join in as they begin to dance. Candlelight shines from the pumpkins on the stage as the school sings along. Our job as 1st graders was to do the little forest noises during the story of Intry Mintry. Now, with our job done, we sat with awe and excitement looking at the characters around us. The teachers all acted their costumes, and we enjoyed being in fairy tale world for the rest of the day. I've always looked forward to Halloween as a time where music and joy meet. Siskiyou School has always brought fun and imagination into every day. From history lessons becoming captivating stories to creating our own pretend businesses for business math, our teachers have made each lesson fun and fascinating. Siskiyou has taught us not only incredible curriculum, but also how to bring art to life, how to bring joy to the smallest things, and how to have a creative mind. Thank you, Siskiyou School, for helping me to become who I am today. Now I'd like to introduce one of the funniest people I have ever known. Since 1st grade, this person has had a playful, friendly personality and a talent for getting into mischief. He's always open to share a joke with and makes every conversation interesting. He's an amazing artist and everyone in the class knows it. He has a very intelligent mind and a fiery spark that lights up any room. This person has been a joy to be in class with. Please join me in welcoming my friend Oliver to the podium.
I watched excitedly as one of my teammates tiredly rounded the track. I readied myself. When he was an arm's length away from me, I grabbed the baton and raced off around the track. I gripped tightly onto the cool metal rod. My mini mosquito bites itched and I was so tired, but I pressed on. The mosquito had been prevalent the night before and everyone had mini bites. When I had completed my loop, I handed the baton to my next teammate and they sprinted off around the track. After my second time around, the race ended and the winner was announced. After this, we proceeded to our next challenges, the javelin and discus. When it came to the javelin, I I felt pretty confident. In all of our mini practices at the school with Mr. Alvarez, I had proven myself to be successful at this skill. To my surprise, the javelin fell sadly short of my expectations. For a moment, I felt disappointed and embarrassed. Then my focus shifted to my classmates who were competing so valiantly. I felt so happy to see them giving their all, just like I had done. In that moment, I knew that the Olympiad was not just about winning, it was about celebrating everyone striving. This is what my whole experience at the Siskiyou School has taught me. We are all in this together. Now I would like to introduce someone who can be seen around campus with a spring in his step and a twinkle in his eye behind his glasses. His acting and orating skills have really stood out in our mini plays and performances over the years. This person has brought a lot of fun and laughter to our class. I remember once when we were on our 6th grade trip to Mount Lassen, a group of us boys talked about tossing a small firecracker into the campfire. This classmate actually did it. To our great delight, it let off a huge bang, and boy were we impressed. If he ever does join the Ashland PD, the city of Ashland will not only be safe, but have a police officer with a great sense of humor. Please welcome my friend Eva Westergaard Voss to the podium.
I will always remember the Siskiyou School, the beautiful campus that grew while I was a student here. Our classrooms, big, spacious, colorful, bright, and homey. I remember the cozy corner in the early grades that gave way to bookshelves and space to stretch out. The plays at our school gave me a chance to work on my acting skills and perform in front of a bunch of people. As the Scarecrow, I got to sing and dance. As in the Odyssey, I was trying to win the heart of Penelope, and as Satchkin Patchkin, I was protecting the forest. Then, in 2 plays, I got to dress up in a dress. One year as Thor, and this year as Thisbe. Teachers really helped me out in math and Ohana. When I was in math in the early grades, I got the attention I needed and understood math better than in a bigger group. Miss Meisner, thank you for being such a wonderful math teacher. In Ohana, Miss Galway opened my eyes to the world of books. Miss Galway, thank you for everything you've done for me. Miss Rossi has been with us for the whole journey of these 8 years. She is strict and has a big presence and a big voice. She is also kind and funny in very many ways. Her joy and laughter will always be in my soul. Miss Rossi, thank you for being my teacher for all these years. The person I'm introducing has an amazing personality, bright spirit, and a great sense of humor. When he walks into the room, he lights it up, and all the boys cheer. When you're down, he'll try to make you laugh and smile. When you get hurt, he'll try to make you feel better. When he joined the class, he was more introverted and shy. Now he's the life of the party. He is a great friend of mine for years to come. Please let me introduce my great friend, Eli Siegel.
When I joined the school in the 6th grade, I was nervous. I had homeschooled for most of my 4th and 5th grade experience, and joining the Siskiyou School with no understanding of Waldorf education was a huge change of pace for me. One thing that I had a mixed opinion on was the 6th grade trip. I loved the scenery of the Mount Lassen area and enjoyed exploring caves, caverns, and huge cinder cones. The only problem with the trip was that I barely knew anyone. There were a few classmates who I came in contact with before I joined the school, but that was only a few. At my old school, I adapted to my classmates' humor and interests. It felt easy to communicate with them. When I joined in the 6th grade here, I had to repeat the process and learn to gain the courage to talk to new classmates while on an overnight trip the first week of school. That trip helped me land in with the class, and overall 6th grade was a fun year. It was nice to finally be properly situated in a school full time. As the years at the Siskiyou School went by, I felt more and more confident. 8th grade was definitely my best year. I felt more like myself and a lot more comfortable around the other students. I can say that the 8th and 6th grade trips are polar opposites. On the 8th grade trip, I was able to be myself, and it was relieving and so fun. I cannot believe how far I have come since the 6th grade. It is so sad to leave the school with only 3 years of participation, and I can also feel that I'm ready to move on. I thank the Siskiyou School for everything that it has given me. Now, I would like to introduce someone with great energy. This person always makes me smile, and he always has a smile on his face. This person is a natural artist. He's creative, and his drawings and doodles are amazing. He is easygoing, will always make you laugh, and he'll help you feel better when you're down. This person is a great and close friend of mine to many and to many in our class, and we just wouldn't be the same without him. Please join me in welcoming my friend Ronan to the podium.
It was 8:30 and I was ready for school. But instead of it being a normal morning, it was the morning of our 8th grade trip. I was so excited. I had all my bags packed and I was ready to get rolling. I hopped in the car and yelled, "Mom, come on, let's go." My mom yelled back, "We still have 10 minutes." I was so ready that day that I was the one telling my mom to get going, not vice versa. My mom finally got in the car and we drove off to go pick up Quillian. At Quillian's house, Quillian was as ready as I was. In less than a minute, we were on our way to Kieran's. Kieran was also ready, but of course, my mom had to take a picture before he could get back in the car. Finally, we arrived at school. Catherine was out front and told us to drop off our bags and then just go have fun out back. When Miss Rosie was ready, we went inside and sat in a circle and told each other what we were excited and nervous about. Finally, we loaded up and were off on a new adventure with our whole class. This trip was a miraculous experience. I felt free and connected to my classmates as never before. I'm so grateful for all my years at the Siskiyou School, and I will remember our 8th grade trip as an ultimate highlight. Now, I would like to introduce a really awesome and special person. I've known her since preschool. This person has a talent with her hands. Everything she makes is so beautiful, especially in woodworking and other crafts. Her 8th grade project was amazing. This person has the biggest heart I've ever seen. She is kind to the core of her being, and she is amazing with little kids. This person loves all animals and is incredibly generous. She loves to see your happy face when she gives you a cool gift. Now, please join me in welcoming my good friend Kaya to the stage.
One of my most memorable moments came in acorn class at the Clay Street Garden with Mr. McGlone. We were digging out garden beds, and one of my classmates, Quillian, was digging up a rock, or so we thought. After digging for a while, he discovered it was much bigger than the average rock that we were used to finding at the Clay Street Garden. In fact, he couldn't reach the bottom. So Mr. McGlone called the rest of the class over to help Quillian dig. We soon realized it was shaped more like a structure than a rock. We got very excited. What could it be? The more we dug, the bigger the structure got. Eventually, we got the outline of the structure. We saw that it was an old foundation made of cement. As we kept digging, we found many other old objects like license plates, doll parts, old glass bottles, and even a pair of glasses. It was so fun discovering all these things. I always loved Acorn class because I loved having fun stuff to do during classes. I would now like to introduce one of the kindest people I know. She has a big heart and brightens up the room whenever she walks in with her amazing smile and hilarious personality. She was the best Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz. Her wicked laugh shook the stage. Please join me in welcoming Cicely to the podium.
My team had all the balls on our side, so technically the game was over and we had won, but Mr. McGlone said there was 5 minutes left of recess and we should play them out. Defense, we called out to each other. If we can hold them off for the last 5 minutes, we can win. We were at Clay Street Park playing Steal the Lemons. Our class has played this game since 3rd grade and we've always loved it, but it was rare to play with just our class, and that was the best. Everyone on our team created a long wall to defend our lemons, the yellow softballs we use for this game. everyone on our the other team started sending waves of 6 or more kids at a time to try and penetrate our line. Our strong defensive line tagged them all, but Mr. McGlone kept calling jailbreak, allowing players who had been previously tagged to run back to their team and keeping the activity on the field intense. Soon, the other team got ready for a massive final attack, and our team made our wall as strong as we could. Every single person on the other team ran towards us. Chaos followed as some kids got through, others were tagged. Some of us tried to fend off the kids, while others tried to guard the kids who had made it through. It was crazy and super fun. Our whole class had a wild experience together, and I will always remember our feeling of closeness and exuberance walking off that field. Now, I would like to introduce a strong, smart, adventurous person who is kind to everyone and open to getting to know you regardless of who you are. When you talk with her, you can tell she really cares about how you feel. Her main lesson work is amazing. She does incredible spray paint art, and she is a talented volleyball player. Even though she joined us recently, our class wouldn't feel complete without her. Please join me in welcoming my friend Lena to the podium.
They say that public speaking is one of the most stress-producing acts anyone can possibly participate in. Little did I know how accurate that statement was. The idea of getting up in front of 100+ people to present my 8th grade project was probably the scariest notion I had yet to face in my time at school, or for that matter, anything I had done in my life. All the work and preparation to complete my project was nothing compared to getting up in front of a crowd with a prepared speech. I remember sitting on the side pews just before having to get up in front of my class and being paralyzed by fear. I remember waiting my turn, and every scenario that could possibly happen was running through my head. When Gigi was done with her speech, I stood up with my hands clenched and waited to be introduced. Getting up on that stage and starting my speech was one of the hardest things I had ever done. About a fourth of the way through, I finally started to relax. By the time I was done, I felt relieved. I was finally at the finish line. Because of my 8th grade project, I'm able to stand up here and give the speech in front of everyone today. I now realize I am capable of doing hard things, so thank you, Siskiyou School, for giving me this opportunity to face my fears. Now, I would like to introduce a person who has been in this class since 1st grade. This person has a great sense of style. She is calm and easygoing. In class, she is super focused and hardworking. She has a beautiful singing voice. She's a loyal friend, and she's always quick to laugh and has a beautiful smile. She's also an amazing at ceramics. Please help me in welcoming Gigi to the stage.
The sun was almost gone, and my whole body was goosebumps. We hurried down a sandy path to a vacant windy beach, having just finished cooking dinner on the 4th night of our 8th grade trip. We sprinted to the water, excited and terrified of the coldness. We sprinted and plunged into the ocean. Each wave of freezing water hit our legs like bricks. But we stayed in, dancing and singing, watching the last bits of orange sunlight fall behind the horizon line. Then, with numb feet, we ran along the beach, wild hair and huge smiles on our faces. I remember looking up and seeing kites soaring above me. I will never forget this particular moment. I felt so at peace and just happy. Everything was perfect, and as Miss Rozzi says, I was with my people. Finally, when we were absolutely frozen, we rushed back to the houses for burning hot showers and warm tea. I felt very grateful for my socks and the coziness of the houses. Now, I would like to introduce one of the funniest and most together people I know. She always has her schoolwork done on time and can effortlessly help me with a math problem that I've been stuck on for days. She has a big sense of humor, is very creative and great at art, but most of all, she is an amazing classmate to everyone in the Dolphin class. Now would you please join me in welcoming my good friend Evie to the podium.
Mr. McGlone sits on a stump. Everybody cheers and laughs as the first small 7th grader successfully lifts Mr. McGlone into the air. We are in our simple machines block studying about levers, and true to the Siskiyou School, we are actually on a big lever, a teeter-totter. The 11 students of COVID Cohort B were observing the experiment and waiting for their turn to lift Mr. McGlone off the ground. The other half of the class in Cohort A had already seen this phenomenon earlier that morning when they were on campus. It was fall of 2020, and after 6 months of Zoom school and being completely isolated, I was so glad to be back at school. I really appreciated the modified schedule and smaller class sizes of the cohort schedule. Just as one small 7th grader could lift a big teacher sitting on a stump using the right simple machine, our class was able to lift the huge weight of the pandemic because we knew and loved each other and Miss Rosie after all our years together. Now we're going to take a pause from our speeches to thank our teachers and parents. I can't begin to imagine a better group of teachers to lead us through the past 8 years. Now we would like to thank you all individually.
Miss Bauer, thank you for introducing us to the wonderful world of woodwork, handwork. From knitting and crocheting to cross-stitching and sewing.
You have taught us so much, and we are blessed to have had you as our teacher for these 8 years.
Thank you.
Miss Archer, you've been with us since 1st grade. We love the songs and games in the younger grades.
This year has been so much fun learning about music history, and singing Valentine's was an experience that none of us will ever forget.
Thank you for your dedication over the years.
We will never forget you. Thank you so much.
Miss Galati, having you as our games teacher for these 8 years has truly been a privilege.
Your kindness, patience, and eagerness to teach us has always brought such a playful atmosphere to one of our already favorite classes.
From teaching us Foursquare to the basics of kickball, I think we can speak for the whole class when we say thank you.
Let's give this
Mr. McGlone, throughout our time at the Siskiyou School, we have looked forward to your class and getting to spend time with you in general.
You have been a great person to talk to, and you have made woodworking an overall amazing experience. Thank you.
Senora Diaz, your bright and playful personality takes us out of school reality.
And you whistle really loud. It would make Isabella proud.
Gracias.
Mr. Delanza, thank you for being so dedicated to supporting our class and making sure all of us succeeded.
You are so kind, understanding, and patient with our class, and for that we are truly grateful. Thank you.
Mr. Monda, thanks for being such a cool teacher.
We love your teaching and will miss your games days and the paper stacking competitions.
We are grateful for you being our teacher. Thank you.
Miss James.
Thank you, Miss James, for making math class so fun with your amazing stories and amiable personality, while still teaching us everything we needed to know.
I think I speak for everyone in your class in saying that you one of our favorites.
Thank you.
Lausha, thank you for teaching us this incredible language for 5 years and bringing your culture to our school.
You made it fun to learn Chinese. Xie xie, Lausha.
Miss Hodge. Thank you for being so patient, gentle, funny, and kind. We will always remember the stories in form drawing, your amazing playsets,
and all the things you taught us about nature in Acorn class. Thank you.
Miss Galway, you're a phenomenal teacher and a very creative, funny person.
Your happy snacks will always be remembered by those who got to enjoy them.
We will miss you a lot. Thank you.
Kristen, thank you for helping with so many things for all these years. Your help with all the tech work during our 8th grade projects really helped us complete them. You always know how to fix and help with problems. Thank you.
Laura, thank you so much for everything you have done for the school. I really don't know what the school could do with what would happen to the school without you. Your planning skills are truly amazing, and all the events you plan are always so well organized and go so smoothly. We are so grateful to have you at the school.
Aurelia, thank you for all that you have done for our class and the school.
From making sure that everything was running smoothly to being our eurythmy teacher in the younger grades.
You have done so much for us, and we want to thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Catherine, thank you for making every class you taught enjoyable. The dedication you brought to the class whenever we needed you is greatly appreciated.
The way in which you taught us was incredibly beneficial, and the lessons you have taught will stick with us for the rest of our lives. Thank you for all the time you have given to us over these last 8 years. Thank you.
Teachers, we thank you.
This song speaks about the relationships that you form in childhood with both people and places. Parents, we want to thank you for giving us the gift of being at the Siskiyou School, which gave us the opportunity to develop a sense of place and belonging. Thank you.
When I was a child, my family would travel to Western Kentucky. My parents were born. There's a backwoods old town, so often remembered. So many times that my memories are worn. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay? I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's old train has hauled it away. Well, sometimes we travel right down the Green River, the abandoned old prison by Adriel, where the air smelled like snakes and we'd shoot with our pistols, but empty pop bottles was all we would kill. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay? I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. Well, the coal company came with the world's largest shovel. They tortured the timber, they stripped all the land. They dug for their coal until the land was forsaken. They wrote it all down as the progress of man. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay? I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. When I die, let my ashes flow down the Green River, my soul roll on up to the Rochester Dam. I'll be halfway to heaven with paradise waiting, just 5 miles away from wherever I am. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay? I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled
One more time. Will you join us if you know the words?
Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay? I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away.
Now I'd like to introduce somebody that has an amazing ability to make her creative visions come to life. She loves beauty and spreads it wherever she goes. This person has an amazing singing voice and is a very good actress. She always knows what to say and when to say it. Every time I talk to her, she makes me laugh. Please join me in welcoming my dear friend, Rosetta.
It was a sunny day, and I couldn't ease my excitement as the instructor talked to us. We were going on a nature walk. It was 4th grade at the village gathering, our first ever overnight trip as a class. As we walked through the forest, I could hear the birds chirp and the leaves rustle in the wind. We were laughing and talking with our friends. The clouds rolled over the blue sky. As we walked, I heard the sound of a creek. We saw a log acting perfectly as a bridge across the water. We begged the instructor to let us cross. Finally, he gave in. We each crossed one by one, stepping carefully so we didn't fall. As we headed back, I felt a raindrop on my head. It was followed by another, and soon it was pouring. We didn't let the rain dampen our day. We marched on with smiles and laughter and returned sopping wet and happy. This is just one example of many happy times with my classmates at the Siskiyou School. I am grateful for all the years and fun memories. Now, I would like to introduce someone who is kind, adventurous, fun, and outgoing. She brings so much to our class, and we wouldn't be the same without her. She is an amazing student, and her art is incredible. Every single detail on her page is stunning. She gives her very best to everything she does, and she succeeds at everything she sets her mind to. She has a great personality, and her exciting energy is contagious. She is a fierce foursquare competitor, and she is an amazing softball player. She has a great sense of humor and always leaves me smiling. Please join me in welcoming my amazing friend, Alice, to the podium.
My hands were shaking, and I was so nervous my stomach hurt, but I was also very excited. I can still remember what color my backpack was, or even what I was wearing. It was the first day of 2nd grade, my first day at the Siskiyou School, and it feels like yesterday. I remember being so intimidated by everyone. They all knew each other and had been friends for a year, or some even longer. My mom left, and I just stood there wondering what I should do. Then some of the girls came up to me and asked if I wanted to go swing on the swing. They even taught me some of the tricks they could do. The first day of 2nd grade was a blur of meeting my buddy Hazel, going on a walk with our class around the neighborhood, and trying to remember 28 students' names. After about 2 weeks, I'd adjusted to the schedule and fallen into the flow. It even felt as if I had been with my classmates since 1st grade. I have now been with the same class for 7 years, which makes 2 weeks look like no time at all. The Siskiyou School and my classmates have been a huge part of my life for so long. And when I look back at my first day at the Siskiyou School, I now realize how much time we have spent together and how far I have come. I would now like to introduce someone who is very smart, hardworking, and kind. He has a passion for science, and the knowledge and wisdom he has to share often brings a new perspective or fact to the class discussions. He brings so much attention to everything he does and is always willing to help when needed. He has an eagerness to learn and complete anything to the best of his abilities. Because of his hard work and dedication, he excels academically, but he also makes time for everyone and is a truly kind and caring person. Please join me in welcoming my dear friend James to the podium.
I come from a line of proud introverts. We are the kind of people who prefer taking the back seat in conversations and who shy away from the spotlight. So naturally, when I was walking up on stage for my penultimate scene in our 5th grade play, The Odyssey, I was very uncomfortable. I was not only expected to perform a key role, but I also had to sing, something that I was all right doing in group, but this time I had no one else on stage to support me. I was alone. Miss Rossi was the one who assigned me to the part of Telemachus, and though I wanted it, I had no idea how challenging it would be. This is one of many moments over the years in which Miss Rossi believed in me and helped me see that I could accomplish more than I ever thought possible. Something that I remember distinctly about that night was being backstage during the scene, right before I had to sing. I felt as if something huge was looming before me. The lines, the cues, the singing, the very thought of it scared the heck out of me. When the lights came on, I somehow found the strength to walk on stage. I remembered all my lines, and my song went surprisingly well. Most importantly, I made it. I'm still alive. The instant I walked off stage, I felt a huge weight lift from my shoulders. It was incredible. I had done it. I felt free and accomplished. That is not the best part, however. The best part was after the performance when people told me I did well. It felt so good. When I was delivering my 8th grade project, I was in a similar position of terror. I couldn't imagine getting up on stage and delivering my project speech, but I remembered my experience from 5th grade. The sense of completion and accomplishment gave me the strength I needed to present my project. Even now, that memory is fueling my commitment to push through this speech. I am profoundly grateful to the school for giving me the opportunity to see what I am capable of, even when it seems impossible. I would now like to introduce someone who's enthusiastic about a wide variety of things and eternally committed to having a fantastic time at every opportunity. They are kind, funny, and above all, a fantastic person to be around. They work incredibly hard in main lesson, and their artwork is incredible. They are incredibly brave, as they did something on stage at their 8th grade project that I could have never done. Please join me in welcoming my friend Sage to this podium.
Only a few people knew what was going on in the first Zoom meeting, and I was not among them. I joined the Dolphin class in 6th grade and never thought I would spend the last months of the school year learning on a computer using a strange program called Zoom. Honestly, no one expected it. It was early April in 2020, and after a 3-week spring break, the Siskiyou school had created a whole new schedule for all of us to learn from home. It was called the RISE program. I woke up 45 minutes before my first digital meeting, ate some food, grabbed my computer, and logged onto Zoom. The sun was shining through our sliding glass door, and there was a slight breeze. Miss Rossi welcomed us. And then, even though we were miles apart, spread out all across the Rogue Valley, we stood up and said our morning verse, together. I could hear the whole class saying the verse, everyone's voices separate, but also united. We were doing something so familiar, in such a new and unexpected way. When I look back on Zoom School, I'm grateful that we still got to learn during that time and stay connected, even though we weren't in person. Thank you, Siskiyou school teachers, for all you did to make that time as fun as it could be. I feel really lucky to have been a student at the Siskiyou school during that time. Now, I would like to introduce someone who puts their all into everything they do. As a student, friend, big sister, and person. She has a beautiful voice that often leaves me wishing I could sing like her. She has a kind, friendly, passionate, and easygoing demeanor that draws people towards her. I wish we could have known each other longer. Please help me in welcoming Juliet to the stage.
The cinnamon sweet air of fall filled the outside space around me, the gentle breeze carrying my hair behind me. As a little first grader, it seemed that gathering acorns was one of the best things we could do that day. Now, some of you might think that gathering acorns could be dull. It's such a simple thing to do, gather acorns, and yet there was so much joy in it. My buddy's warm hand holding my cold one guided me down the path. Knowing that my buddy was there, right next to me, made me feel safe and like I had a friend. And that is what this school has done for me. It has given me so many friends that I am grateful for every day. And it has been a friend to me. It has been a safe place where I could express my creativity freely and with support. I can't believe I am graduating, and I'm so sad to be leaving. I'm sad to leave my teachers and my peers, but I'm excited to start a new chapter. Thank you so much, Siskiyou School. Now I would like to introduce one of my very good friends. She is kind, lighthearted, and has the most love and light-filled laugh. She has an amazing eye for design and is one of the most organized people you will ever meet. She adores pandas and elephants, and I am so happy that I have gotten to be her friend. Please join me in welcoming my good friend Kiva to the podium.
First grade recess is unique compared to any other grade. We are all still getting to know each other, but somehow we are all already so close. There is so much imagination and creativity. I have so many unforgettable memories, one of them being playing baseball under the plum tree. This was not any kind of ordinary baseball. It couldn't have been. It was first grade. We played with small red plastic shovels and a wood chip or plum. That was our version of fun. Over the years, that fun has continued in many different forms. At the beginning of this school year, we played epic games of Foursquare. Then, about halfway through the school year, some of my classmates created a new game. It was called stickball, which was basically baseball with a strong stick and a lightweight ball. When I watched my classmates play this game, I was reminded of first grade playtime. Everyone was a lot bigger, and they were able to hit the ball a lot further, but the fun and games in some ways had stayed the same. I guess you could say we've come full circle. I will always remember the fun we have had as a class, both on the playground and in the classroom. I will really miss my classmates and all of my teachers, and I am so grateful for all of the time I have had here at the Siskiyou School. Now I'd like to introduce a classmate of mine who is a really hard worker and an incredible student. Her art shines in an incredible way, and she has a skill of being able to focus diligently exactly when it is needed. She also has a very playful and energetic side as well, and an incredibly warm and kind personality. It has been wonderful to have been her classmate since second grade. Please join me in welcoming my friend Maylee to the podium.
When I was in second and in third grade, we sat on the floor in Pine Hall for Friday assemblies and school plays. During those grades, I would always look up to the older classes who got to sit in the chairs. I would think it would be so nice to be able to sit in the chairs and not have to sit on the floor and have your legs fall asleep. Finally, in fourth grade, we were allowed to sit in the chairs. It was awesome. And right away, I started imagining the next step. Sitting on the pews as an 8th grader. That seemed like the ultimate comfort. Only 4 more years and I'd get to sit there. I couldn't wait for that milestone. I ended up homeschooling in 7th grade, and that made me wonder if I'd ever get the chance to sit in the pews. Then, to top it all off, when I rejoined my class in 8th grade, COVID was still happening and we weren't allowed to gather in Pine Hall at all. Can you imagine waiting all those years, getting so close to your goal, and then being denied that joy? The moment I'd been finally waiting for came in March of this year during our 8th grade projects. I felt so proud when I sat on the pews watching my classmates present their 8th grade projects. I felt so proud. Not only was I proud sitting on the pews, but I was proud to have experienced the Siskiyou School all these years. So here I am. I have finished 8th grade and have enjoyed the luxury of sitting on the pews. I can say with my whole heart that this school has been everything I dreamed it would be. Now, I would like to introduce someone who came to the Siskiyou School with courage. Courage to meet new classmates, experience a new curriculum, and meet new teachers. She has amazing resilience in getting comfortable with a new class. It has been inspiring to watch her grow with new friendships. This person has astounding artistic gifts and blows my mind with her main lesson pages with their drawing and color detail. I had the unique opportunity to meet this person before she came to our school. And on special occasions, I got to see her mischievous side and her love of playing pranks on people. Please join me in welcoming my friend, Seraphima, to the podium.
It was over. We all did it, and we all did our best. It wasn't perfect, of course. There were little mistakes and mess-ups, but we all did it our best, and that's what matters. Our play, A Midsummer Night's Dream, took almost a month of practicing, learning our lines, and preparing costumes. Then, 1 hour and 15 minutes later, we've done it. It was over. And now, as I'm walking back to our classroom on the path of candles that look so pretty, shining in the dark, like stars falling from the evening sky, I have a huge feeling of happiness and relief. We all went through something big, together, and that was the first step of me becoming closer with this class. This year was my first at this school, and it was amazing to see how people change, from strangers to classmates, from classmates to friends and best friends, and then we all leave, all go our separate ways. Some back to strangers, some will remain friends for longer, and this year, though it has only been one, becomes a memory I will remember throughout my whole entire life. Now, I would like to introduce someone who always seems to know the answer to any question about anything. He is so fun to have conversations with, as his thoughts on any topic are fantastic, from species of animal, what kind of species of animal kangaroos are, to the nature of infinity, the meaning of time, and what lies beyond the universe. This person has amazing things to say. I think my classmates would agree with me when I say this person is like a walking dictionary. He is very smart and intelligent, but with that he's also incredibly kind, thoughtful, and funny. Please join me in welcoming my friend Winter to the podium.
My feet tapped against the ground at a frantic pace, and my mind raced through every possible thing that could go wrong. My eyes darted along each row of chairs and to the people they held. Then they darted to the projector screen housing hundreds more people. And finally, my attention focused on Miss Rozzi, saying the last few words before I was to get up on stage to do my 8th grade project speech. I was the first to go out of my whole class, and I was terrified. When Miss Rozzi welcomed me up to the stage, I put a smile on my face and started walking up. When I reached center stage, I paused and began my speech. Good morning. The rest of my speech was a blur, but I remember at the end asking, any questions? The nerves had settled some minutes earlier, but with those last 2 words out of my mouth, the nervousness abated completely. Those 10 minutes were some of the scariest of my life, but I'm so glad the Siskiyou School gave me the opportunity to do it. I gained an experience of public speaking that will go on to help me everywhere, from job interviews to just going to high school. I will take the memory of my 8th grade project speech with me as a reminder that I can do hard things, whether it be speaking in front of a sea of people or moving onward on my journey, away from the Siskiyou School and many of the people that I have known. Now I would like to introduce someone who is energetic and loves to play. She is an amazing athlete and has a funny, outgoing personality. Though she just joined our class recently, she fits right in. When I think of this person, I think of our 8th grade trip, when she was running up and down the beach, soaking wet, and laughing with her friends. Please join me in welcoming my friend Cece to the stage.
For those who don't know, this was my first year attending the Siskiyou School. At first, I didn't know what to think about this school because I hadn't really ever experienced something like it before. It took me quite some time It took me quite some time to adjust to this new setting, but as soon as I did, I could only wish for more time with this school. One of my favorite memories with this class is the Oregon Coast 8th grade trip. I remember we all got our swimsuits and sandals on, and we were ready to go down to the beach. Despite it being 50 degrees out, that didn't bother us. We all ran into the water, and as the waves came crashing down, hitting my body, and as our laughter filled the salty air, it made me realize that I hadn't felt this at home in a long time. Even though my whole body went numb, I never wanted the feeling of that moment to end. I'm so beyond grateful that I had this opportunity to be a part of this beautiful Siskiyou school family. I hope everyone in my class knows how much I appreciate them for making this a wonderful first and last year for me. Now I would like to introduce one of the most talented artists in our class. They amaze me every day with all their incredible artwork. For me, what I enjoy most is this person's ability to make me smile. This person is kind, easygoing, and has a great sense of humor. Their love for Batman always makes me laugh. Please join me in welcoming my friend Kieran to the podium.
I hear voices of people laughing and having fun while running around in the background. And then I see the apple, swinging back and forth in front of my face. I go cross-eyed trying to follow its movement. Then when the moment comes and the apple swings into the right spot, I go for it, and bam, it hits me right in the tooth. It hurts a bit, so I step back and then try again. This goes on for a while, but eventually I sink my teeth into the apple and take a bite. I grab the apple and yank it off the string and then take another bite. The apple tastes amazing, even with the bruises from it hitting my teeth. I toss the core away, then while eating another apple and drinking some apple cider, I run to go join my friends in some fun activities. Obstacle courses, face painting, apple cider, blacksmithing, potlucks, and St. George and the Dragon are some of the fond memories I have from the Siskiyou School's fall celebration of Michaelmas. I've been in this class for 8 years and been going to Michaelmas for over 10. It's amazing to look back over the years and remember everything. And in all of these memories, my friends are there. Some of them I've known forever, and some I've just met this year. They're some of the most amazing people I know and great friends. I'm truly grateful that I've met them. I'd now like to introduce a friend of mine who I've known my whole life. We were in kindergarten together at Miss Claire's, and we'd always hang out, climb trees, and run around. He's always been a great friend of mine. In all my memories of him, he has been a very playful, athletic, and energetic person. He can turn anything into a competition, and his determination pushes him to be at the top both in school and on the soccer field. Now would you please join me in welcoming my good friend Escher.
With every step, my feet sank into the lava rock. I felt like I was going nowhere. All I could think about was I had to keep going. We were on our 6th grade trip to Mount Lassen, and we were climbing the cinder cone. It was like climbing a mountain of sand. Some of my classmates and I were racing to the top. We ran as fast as we could up the steep, winding path. When we finally made it to the summit, we turned and waited for the rest of our classmates. As people started to reach the top, those of us already there cheered and made a tunnel for them to run through. The tunnel got longer and longer as each person arrived and joined in the cheering. From the top of the cinder cone, the view of the lava beds was amazing. Our whole class walked the spiral lava path into the center of the cone. We lay down and looked at the blue sky and clouds. Then we picked up huge pieces of lava rock. On the way down, it felt like we were flying as we ran. When we got back to our campsite, it was dark and we ate pasta and sat around the campfire. This trip was one of the first times I realized how lucky I was to have such a great class and school experience. Now I would like to introduce someone who is an incredible friend to everyone in our class. This person brings light and joy into our days. She is the proud owner of the most hilariously contagious laugh that fills our classroom every day. This person excels at all aspects of life. She is an incredible leader, artist, student, friend, and so much more. I know that I speak for everyone when I say that we will all remember her as one of the greatest lights in our Siskiyou school experience. These 8 years would not have been the same without her. Please join me in welcoming my dear friend Clarity to the stage.
As I stood from my chair in the earth row and walked up to the front of the room, full of light, color, and warmth, I felt ready to do almost anything. But still, to say this poem Miss Rozzi had given me for the first time in front of the whole class seemed like too much. As I started to speak, the words did not sound how I thought they would, but that did not stop me. Soon, I felt confident saying these words. "Come," said the wind, "and dance with me." "Oh yes," said the oak, "what fun it'll be." I was coming to the end. There had been a couple of stutters along the way, but I was close to finishing. I looked around the room, and although I did not comprehend it yet, I was about to spend the next 8 years growing up with almost every single person sitting in front of me. I kept going, only a few words left. The wind blew hard and tugged at the tree. Blow as hard as you will, you cannot uproot me. And there, was I really already done? I thought I had more to say. My roots have become strong at this school. Here today, I still cannot comprehend that I am at this moment, and that small first grader who spoke her birthday verse weekly and thought it was the scariest thing ever has grown into the person you see before you today, speaking in front of all of you. I've grown and changed here, and although I am moving on, my class will always be a part of who I am, and I will never fully be uprooted from the Siskiyou School. So, after 8 years, I'll say this poem one more time. "Come," said the wind, "and dance with me." "Oh yes," said the oak, "what fun it'll be." The wind blew hard and tugged at the tree. Blow as hard as you will, you cannot uproot me. Now I would like to introduce someone who we all love very much. She's incredible at basically every sport, and she is as fast as the wind. She's the world's kindest heart and always has me laughing. If you look at any of her work, especially her handwriting, you can tell how hard she works on every detail. This person always loves telling stories, and we all love listening. This person is one of my favorite people, and I am so glad I have gotten a chance to know her. Now, please join me in welcoming my friend Kayla to the podium.
As we sat in a circle and played hand clapping games, the most important thing on my mind was making sure to say an animal that had not already been said. Time was not on my side, and all of a sudden it was my turn. I yelled out, "Giraffe!" "No, someone already said that," one of my friends yelled out in a triumphant voice. As we set up to play another round of the game, Concentration, I heard my name be called and quickly hurried off. It was the 5th grade Olympiad, and it was my turn to do the field events. The running events had been completed earlier that day, but I could still hear the cheers of the crowd echoing in my mind as I ran down the grassy track, sweat trickling down my forehead, sprinting towards the finish line. Little did I know that day would spark my inspiration to run. I finished the field events, javelin, discus, and Greek wrestling, and quickly returned to my friends. As we waited for everyone to finish, we giggled about last night's dinner, which for most of us had consisted of bread and lemonade, and for some unlucky people, the lasagna. Besides the less than pleasant food, the Olympiad, in my opinion, was one of the most memorable school trips during my time at the Siskiyou School. At the end of the event, our city state leader placed the medal over my head, and I felt a small pang of sadness that this was the end of the Olympiad. It had been such an exciting day. As I stand here before you and look back at my time at the Siskiyou School, there are so many moments that have shaped me into the person I am today, this trip being one of many adventures.
Now I would like to introduce someone whose focus in class, dedication to school, and stunningly lesson pages are nothing short of inspiring. This person is one of the most caring people I have had the opportunity to meet. She lights up the classroom with her presence, her kindness, and her optimism. This brilliant person, and though she is gifted at everything she puts her mind to, she is incredibly humble. She is funny too, and she makes everyone feel welcome and included in anything from a school project to spending time at recess. In addition to being an amazing artist, this person is also an incredible dancer. I am beyond grateful to call her my friend. Please join me in welcoming my good friend Raquel to the podium.
Please join me on the stage.
Will everyone give one final round of applause to the graduating class of 2022?
As is our tradition here at the Siskiyou School, the teachers love and look forward to giving a final offering to the 8th grade students. And then we have 2 speeches before it is time to award the diplomas.
You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by. Told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you. Of tender years, and know the fears that your elders rule by, and so help them with your they see the truth before they can die, and teach your parents well, their children's hell. They slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams. The ones they pick are the ones you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you.
I'm sure there's a preponderance of you, 8th graders, and probably some of you 7th graders out there, so listen up, who could probably answer this problem. What is the constant and what is the change for the equation y equals 3x plus 4? What is the constant? 4. What is the change? 3. See, you guys are great already. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Miss James. I'm one of the middle school math teachers here at the Siskiyou School, and I am so honored to be able to speak at today's celebration. When I came to the school 5 years ago, I had just gone through a major change with the birth of my son and his kidney transplant surgery. Everything felt uncertain to me. And teaching math again was not what I expected to be doing. But being able to teach on a schedule that was later in the morning and with a job description that was significantly less taxing than I had just come from, it was a perfect fit for my family's needs. I remember walking into the school that March morning, and I instantly loved the calm and the peaceful learning environment. I heard children's voices singing, and I admired the beautiful paintings that were donned in the entrance foyer as I waited for my interview with Aurelia. In what could have been an extremely stressful situation, I was warmly welcomed into an easy and interesting conversation with Catherine and Aurelia. I had no idea that this moment would be so pivotal in my future. Some milestones are marked with ceremonies and photographs. Friends and family come from all over to celebrate and to recognize what a pivotal moment it is for you. This graduation is the end of a long and substantive journey, and it's the beginning of something new, different, exciting, possibly even scary. But it is momentous, and the change that's happening is evident. Sometimes change happens in incremental, mundane ways, and it's barely even noticeable. Like looking into a mirror every day and not really seeing the changes that are happening. Do you remember when we all came back to school last fall? Our faces were covered all the time with masks, inside, outside, and we could only imagine the smiles or sometimes the yawns that were happening underneath that fabric. What's more, we didn't see the beautiful changes in the facial structure that each child was undergoing. When the masks came off, outdoors at least, remember in January? It was a revelation. It was as if we were seeing old friends for the first time. When you look into a mirror, you probably look the same as you always did, to yourself. But to those of us who hadn't seen your faces in a while, that change was obvious. Change is always happening, whether it's mundane or whether it's obvious. Every parent here knows the saying, the days are long, but the years are short, right? And graduates, I think you might now have an understanding of that saying as well. How many long days, tedious tasks, grueling assignments have filled your days and made them exceedingly long? In over 8 years, and I've done the math, you have attended approximately 1,400 days of school. That's 9,800 hours just at the Siskiyou School, and I'm not even mentioning the homework that you did. Sometimes those days seemed unending. But sitting here now, looking back, and well, maybe not right now, but soon these 8 years will seem like a moment in time. Massive changes encapsulated just by a picture on the mantle. Helen Keller said, "Keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see the shadows." When she was just 19 months old, she had contracted an illness that left her both blind and deaf. I'm sure you know her story well. But she described her early life like she was at sea in a dense fog. When Helen was 7 years old, her mother was inspired by a true story recounted by Charles Dickens of a young blind and deaf girl who was educated to read and write. Helen's mother, Kate, pursued every avenue she could to find her daughter an education. Eventually, she went to the Perkins Institute for the Blind, who assigned alumni Anne Sullivan, a 20-year-old teacher, to be Helen's governess. This friendship changed her life and opened up the world to Helen as she eventually became an important writer, speaker, and political activist in the 20th century. Like in Helen's life, there will be days when the change is overwhelming and unstoppable. You will have those days. In those moments, it is good to remember one thing. the constants. Those things in our lives that give us a starting point, an anchor for security in a rocky sea, or even a launch pad from which to soar. When the world seems at its darkest, it is good to remember the constants. The Creator who gives us the rhythm of seasons, the warmth of sunshine, and the silence of snow. The one who has made each one of you unique and for a purpose. Constants like our parents, grandparents, and guardians who, like Kate Keller, seek out the best that they can give you, each one of you, and in doing so brought you into a community, a constant of caring teachers and friends. You each have your own constants. For some of you, music soothes you, or art helps you to express, science that gives you a place to explore, and yes, math when it has just one answer. Remember your constants and revel in their comfort when the change comes again, and it will. Okay, this is either where everything that you learned about linear equations gets upended and you're like, what? Or maybe it just gets righted. Heraclitus said, the only constant in life is change. Remember y equals 3x plus 4? It is only with both the constant, in our case, the 4, and the change, or the slope of 3, that we can truly understand the why. Not the letter Y, but the why of our lives. We all have a why. We all have a purpose. The totality of all the change and all the constants together. It is in learning to live in that relationship with both that our why is made clear. Why masks? Why COVID? Why my parents? Why the Siskiyou school? Why this time and place in the world? The change and the constants of your life are your why. Rest on that launch pad your constants have graced you with. But be prepared to hold on for your life's trajectory and the change that it will bring. And enjoy the ride. Congratulations, 2022 Siskiyou School graduates. May you bring sunshine to all the shadows.
It's almost time to graduate. Dolphin class, we have been on such a journey together. Those of you who just joined, those of you who have been here, I treasure each of you. Thank you for being my students. Dolphins. So my work with dolphins started in my early 20s. I was living in Colorado, and I was deep in the journey of learning all about myself, figuring lots of things out about life. And during that time, among the many things that were happening, I was working with an amazing therapist. She was in her late 60s, and she was strong and vulnerable. She was kind, humble, and powerful. She was really awesome. And I remember feeling her genuine care for me. I remember watching her searching for ways to help me shift my patterns. And one day she said to me, "Do you know that dolphins are conscious breathers?" And I remember thinking, what are you talking about? And how can this possibly pertain to me? I didn't even like talking about breath or breathing. I didn't get it at all. The things I was facing seemed so huge. It seemed absurd to talk about breathing. Then she launched into this whole thing about how dolphins are mammals. They have to breathe in order to survive, but they live underwater. So they have to consciously decide to come up to the surface to take a breath. She explained this meant that dolphins have to plan their lives around breath. They're conscious breathers, she said. And that's how it started for me about dolphins. For some reason, those words really stuck with me, and I started holding the question about what it meant to be a conscious breather. By the time I became your first grade teacher, I had been thinking about that and working with the idea of breath in myself and in my life for about 12 years. And when I decided to teach your class, I knew that breath was going to be a very important part of our time together. By this time, I had grown to love dolphins. Many of their qualities are quite outstanding. And very quickly after school started, all the way back in first grade, I saw many wonderful dolphin qualities within each of you. You were playful and thoughtful. You were kind and funny and smart. You were incredibly capable and compassionate, and I had no doubt you were the dolphin class. And then there was the day after spring break, I think in second grade, but I'm not sure, when a whole group of you came back to school. Some of you had been traveling together, and some of you had run into each other on the beach in Brookings and had an experience with a dolphin who was on the sand there. And that day, I had planned a lesson about dolphins, and then I knew for sure it was just time to name you the dolphin class. So over the 8 years that I've been your teacher, much of that dolphin medicine, breath, play, community, learning, creativity, has been in my mind and heart as I have planned each block, each lesson, each day. As we have navigated the seasons of these years together, these qualities have been my guideposts. And over the last few weeks, as I've been thinking about what I might say to you on this very night, I kept coming back to dolphins and to that question that I have been kind of thinking about for 20 years. So on this night, I say this to you. Breathe. Literally and simply breathe. Remember to breathe. Remember to breathe when things are hard. Remember to breathe when things are awesome. Breathe when you're scared. When you feel stuck or everything feels impossible, breathe. Become conscious breathers. If you forget everything you know, if you are in the darkest of dark, just breathe for a few minutes. Just breathe, and you will know what to do next. Listen to the knowing, however small, that arises after you remember to breathe, and be willing to follow it. It works like magic. Somehow breath has the capacity to light up our path. When I started to remember to do this, to take conscious breaths, because I was breathing all the time, but I didn't know it. I wasn't thinking about it. It wasn't helping. But when I started taking conscious breaths, especially in my hardest moments, at first it was just about getting through to the other side. Slowly, though, something really unexpected started happening for me. I started to change, and the way I saw the world started to change. I started to let go of a whole lot of ideas I had about how hard life was supposed to feel and how hard I was supposed to push in order to get things done. And so, Dolphin class, as you move on in your lives, I want to invite you to notice when you are in push mode. Notice when you feel something needs to be a certain way, or when you're using your energy to force something to happen. Whether it's about a grade, a test, a social situation, a sport. When you feel you are efforting, I encourage you to stop. Take a breath and ask, what's going on? Why am I in this state? Do I need to feel this way? I encourage you to ask the question. I have noticed in those hardest push moments that when I'm able to stop, which can be really hard, but when I'm able to stop, I notice that something can move. Something wants to move. That hard, impossible push feeling, that moment can open and change really quickly if I'm able to let it. And I've noticed that breath is the doorway to that change. I've noticed that when we remember to breathe, instead of pushing harder and harder to get something done, the resistance that we create through all that pushing and effort, it falls away. And we move from being in a place of effort to being in a place of flow. And when we take action from a place of flow, we are inspired. And the actions feel easy and fun. I think every single person here knows what that feels like. When we hit that place, sometimes we realize the thing we were forcing didn't even matter. Or we come up with a way better solution than we could have ever thought of when we were in that pushing mode. Sometimes the thing that seemed so huge just falls away, just because we took a breath and we lay our resistance down. I have come to see that place of flow as the ultimate dolphin medicine. When we are in that place, we are playful, we are free, we are creative, we are full of energy and possibility, just like dolphins. And when we move from this place, it is literally powerful beyond measure. When we move out of that place of inspiration and flow, we can move mountains with nearly no effort at all. And that's the dolphin medicine I want to offer you as you step out into this new time of your life. I want to encourage you to breathe. I want you to follow that place of flow as often as you can. I want to remind you to question when things are hard. When you are pushing rather than flowing, question it and listen to that wisdom that comes from your breath. It's the power of the dolphin, and you all have it in you. Everyone does. If these words seem crazy to you, the way they did when that therapist of mine told me that dolphins were conscious breathers, I understand that. And I want to invite you to just consider this, revisit this question over time. I'm going to give you a copy of this speech. You could read it in a couple years. Hold the question. See how your relationship with breath moves and changes as you grow. For I would love to hear what you have to say about it in, say, 20 years. Let's just plan to meet up and we can talk about dolphins. It has truly been my greatest joy to be your teacher. My time in the classroom with you, all of these years, that everyone could have a job that brings them as much delight and joy as you have brought me. Thank you for being my students. And it is time to graduate. Let's do this. Alice Ray Carnahan. Benjamin Michael Bass. Congratulations, Ben. Cicely Jean Lehman. Clarity Quinn Carter. Eli Eugene Siegel. Escher Teo Mackay Paz. Evie Christina Sloan. Gigi Clementine Brown. Sorry, my timing. Gwendolyn Winter Bartow. Hudson David Horvath. Ivo Madrone Westergaard Voss. James Fisher Beers. Juliet Graham Gunn. Kaya Lorraine Marsh. Kayla Rose Hawkins. Kieran Alder Sweeney. Kiva Rosa Delanza. Lena Emerson Crawford. Maylee Faye Magda. Oliver Francis Martin. Quillian Cyrus Torzan. Raquel Allegra Adams. Ronan Anton Smith. Rosetta Ann Boney. Sage Kala Thatcher. Serafima Pavlovna Agapova. Cece Grace Fitch. Winter Ray Marks Ladd. Step on up here, graduates. The Siskiyou class of 2022.
I walked through fire, I came out the other side. I chased desire, I made sure I got what's mine. And I continue to believe that I'm the one for me. And because I'm mine, I walk the
Please join me in welcoming our new middle school.